Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection, our friend Laura Sutherland is back and ready to bring us some tips on what I'm calling layaway 2.0, but I know that's not the real thing. We're talking about buy now, pay later. How are you doing today, first off, Laura?
I'm good. Thank you. It's sunny and nice outside.
I know, summer is off and running. We've had some hot days, we've had some cool days, and now it's just summer. So enjoy it while it's here, of course. And maybe this is why you got to, do some buy now, pay later stuff, because you wanted that pool like right now. And yeah, sounds great. Let's do it. Let's pay for it later. But you guys are wanting to set up. You want to warn us that we need to be careful when we're looking at this buy now, pay later stuff. And I just continue to think of the layaway stuff and always like, be careful. Similar fashion, be careful here. Tell us what you know.
So I like your tee up by that pool, because that's sort of where the buy now, pay later comes into play, those really big purchases, right? So you want to make this big purchase and you see, oh, look, you can pay it in 4 easy installments, no problem, purportedly no interest, and here we go. But folks need to be aware that there are some ways in which you can end up paying more than you thought. And there's some ways that you can get snagged up. So let's talk a little bit about how it works. So buy now, pay later is just a way in which you can spread your payments on a big purchase over time, just the way you would with a loan, typically just a few months. But these loans are different. They're interest free. And what that means typically is that they're not going to give you the truth in lending disclosures that you would get with a regular loan. So a lot of times when you get a loan and it has interest and the interest compounds, the law requires that they disclose to you how much it's going to cost. Well, because there's no interest, you're not going to get those disclosures. But that doesn't mean that there are no fees or there's no interest necessarily, because oftentimes a buy now, pay later plan works if you pay everything on time fully. But if you get behind in your payments or you skip a payment, that's where the fees may catch up with you. So like anything, you need to do your homework before you jump into one of these programs and make sure you read the fine print. If you're not willing to dig in and read the fine print on a buy now, pay later plan, chances are you probably shouldn't be in that plan. The way they usually work is they're split into 4 payments, and the first one is due when you check out. The other 3 payments are typically due every 2 weeks and are billed on a credit card or a debit card or a bank card. This means you're entering into agreement with the privilege of paying over time. And they don't charge interest, as I say. But if you miss a payment, you may end up having to pay compounded interest or additional fees. So really need to make sure that you read that fine print, because unlike loans and credit card purchases that are done on installments, you don't have the federal protections that you would have and in a buy now, pay later situation. You may not be guaranteed a refund. Is another issue with these. You might pay a significant amount and you can't pay all of it, and you're not going to get a refund for your payments that you've already made. And you also might not be building up credit. So one of the target audiences for buy now, pay later are young people, right? They don't have a lot of income, but they want that new phone or they want that new fancy whatever, and they want to do these four payments. One of the nice things about doing it in a traditional installment plan or credit plan is you are building up credit as you do it. These plans, the buy now later plans, don't allow you to build any credit because they're not technically a loan. And then the other thing that they're just sort of designed to do is to get you to buy those giant purchases that you may not be prepared to buy, or maybe you shouldn't be buying because you can pay for them over time. And so there again, targeting younger people with less income can get in trouble really fast, because they think, oh, I don't have to pay all up front. And before you know it, you're behind and you've got these fees and these interest payments that are compounding because you didn't make a payment. The other thing that we have to look out for these installment payments is when the payment is due. Lots of people who are paying or hand to mouth, as you like to say, or your paycheck to paycheck If the payment is due at the end of the month, you may not have the funds. Or if it's due at the beginning of the month, it may take out the funds that you need for rent or food or what have you. So making sure when that payment is due and making sure that if it's attached to your bank account, that you have the funds in your bank account to make those installment payments. So these aren't illegal programs. There's no reason that folks can't take advantage of them if they just know what they're doing. They've read the fine print and they're ready to participate.
It's interesting because you're right on a lot of fronts here, that there's a lot more what ifs with these, and it's not too good to be true. They're there, but they're not protected either. It kind of leaves a really big window open where if you use your credit card, and you've told us this many times, you get that protection when you use a credit card to go back on and do it. So if you were going to do the research and the things that you're going to stand out for, or things that would stand out to you one more time, what would be those top 3 things that you would say if it was your kid to say, hey, I want to buy this thing right now, and this program looks great, Mom, there's no interest whatsoever. What would you circle right away and say, hey, did you even look at this?
Right. So first of all, read the fine print and see what kind of hidden fees or interest payments there may be if you do not pay on time. Also figure out what the refund policy is and the cancellation policy. There may be a cancellation policy that hits you with a pretty heavy fine if you decide you don't want to do it. And the other thing is, look at the program and Google it or research it online within the phrase scam or complaint or fraud, and see what comes up about that company. You never know. There may be some issues already that folks have run into, and doing a little bit of research on the company on the front end before you start making that payment could really save you a lot of heartburn.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts here on this, and I think you hit it on the head that it's that purchase that maybe you shouldn't buy right now. And your final tip is maybe you should just consider delaying, just delay the purchase, and that might be the better route here. But certainly I've seen them pop up more and more. And while there necessarily hasn't been too many complaints, you're getting these folks ready here to make sure that they do spend their money wisely and make sure that you read the fine print here. If people want to find more about this, Laura, where can they learn more about this and other tips? And of course, reporting if they do get in trouble.
So folks should visit our website at datcp.wi.gov for information about all kinds of consumer protection issues and fraud. If you think you've been a victim of a fraud, you can call our hotline at 1-800-422-7128. You can file a complaint at our website, or you can file a complaint at DATCP hotline at wisconsin.gov.
All right, great information. I guess I'm not buying the pool. You talked me out of it. That's fine. And you have a great summer. We'll look forward to checking back in with you and your staff later this month.
Thanks, Jeremy.
You bet. Check DATCP's website. They got a great information on the stuff that we talked about today, and certainly others. And please report it. If you do find something, report it so the folks at DATCP can chase them down and, stop scams. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.